at the Movies with Tim Sika, and he joins us again. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Kim McAllister. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm
Hi.
good. How are you, Tim?
I'm fine.
Good.
I'm fine. It was a little slow week for movie
Mhm.
watching for me, but yeah. It
Sometimes
was
that's
it,
the way
it
it
was
is.
good. Sometimes that's the way it goes. Yeah, yeah.
I watched something that our mutual friend Nikki Maduro suggested to me, and I thought I would present it to you as we begin.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hadn't heard of this old movie,
Yeah.
and now it's
Yeah.
been remade into a new series on Netflix. Nikki said, "You've got to watch the four seasons." And so I did, and
So-
I loved it. It's this movie, the original was an Alan Alda movie with Carol Burnett
right. Yeah,
from
yeah.
1981.
81, yeah.
And it's
I
a
don't think I remember when that movie came out, but I don't recall having seen it. And I probably should have just because of the pedigree of the cast. I mean, Carol Burnett and Sandy Dennis and
Mhm.
Rita Moreno's in it too.
Yeah.
Len Cario. It looks like, yeah, it's a great cast. They use the music of Vivaldi from what I have
It's
gathered.
they
I don't
use
think
some.
I
Go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
say I don't think I probably would have remembered it, but I all I
Mhm.
remember are like little, maybe I've seen scenes from it or something. But I will watch it for next week and I'll let you know what I think. But do you like the film? You like the original film, the
So
1981
I had
film?
never seen it, but I watched the new series that has Tina Fey
Yeah, yeah.
and a bunch of other people in it. Tina Fey, hold on, I have the list. And it was created by Tina Fey, and it stars Fey, Steve Carell or Carell,
See,
Coleman
Corral.
Domingo, Will
Oh,
Forte is in this one, and
oh,
then it's based on the original from 1981 with Alan Alda, Carol Burnett, and others. And so I watched the series, and I liked it so much, I thought, oh, I love Alan Alda. Let me watch the old one. And so then I watched the movie, and I love them both. And the storyline is
okay.
similar. There's a
Uh-huh.
twist in the series that did not happen in the old movie, but there's also a lot of similarities as well. And I recommend both. They're both really good. It felt you could it there's this style of acting in the 80s where it's kind of
Mm,
overacting, and also there
it's
are
theatrical, yeah, yeah.
very theatrical and very also, um, kind of outbursts that would never
Yes.
be tolerated in today's
Today.
society, like, you would look at
Yeah.
someone like, "Are you nuts? Like, you're totally unhinged." Um,
Yeah.
but it was normal back then, I guess,
It
not
was the
we're
80s. Yeah,
yeah,
it
it was
was
the 80s.
yeah.
We didn't have to be regulated, emotionally, but it still was a really good movie, and the story is good, and it's called The Four Seasons, and the Vivaldi music is used in both the old movie and in the new series, and I think it really complements what's happening. And in both, they have these nature scenes as they switch from
Mhm,
season to season, which
mhm.
is really kind of cool, and you
I'm
feel it.
cur I'm curious because you said it's a series. Now, the
Mhm.
movie is what, under 2 hours? So does it feel like they're just extending it for no other reason than to just make it longer? It's a series, right? How many episodes is it?
I wanna say 8? 8?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
Mhm.
okay, but and
It
you
didn't
say it
feel like it. It didn't
okay.
it really didn't feel like it. It was so enjoyable that I was glad to have more content to watch because the story was
Yeah.
so good.
Okay.
And there were some twists and some, new plot lines, and the characters are really likable, so I enjoyed both. Again,
Okay, I'll
that's
check them out. I'll check them
yeah.
out this week. Yeah, for sure.
That's
Yeah.
the new one, and it's on Netflix. It's net
Okay.
on streaming now, and there they are on the beach. But
Okay. Yeah.
both involve, and this doesn't ruin the plot for you, both involve this group of friends that vacation together every season. And I'm thinking to myself, you guys go on a lot of vacations, but okay. So they
Yeah.
vacation together every season, and uh, one of the couples breaks up and gets a divorce. And it's about the aftermath of that, the impact
Mm.
on all the friendships, the impact on
Yeah.
their relationship, and on
Mm.
new partners coming into the group, the impact on their kids. And it's a good series. It's very entertaining and thoughtful.
Did Alda have anything to do with this remake? Do you
I
know?
don't know, but I can tell you he makes a cameo, so I know he's
Okay.
supportive of it.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was
sure he is. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
plays the father of the divorcee.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know he directed the original. I think he wrote it too. I think it
Yeah.
was his baby from the get go. Yeah.
Mhm. Anyway, so
Well,
that's mine to present to you.
okay. Thank
There
you.
you
I
go, and
appreciate it. I like tips.
well done. And now I turn the floor over to you, Tim Sika. What do you want to do first?
Okay. Well, okay. We'll go from something you really liked,
Okay.
something decidedly different from than the first movie we're going to talk about. I mean, this week it's all visceral entertainment that we're going to be talking about, and the first movie on the list. There's just a couple this week, but it's it's a movie called Clown in a Cornfield.
Why?
Okay, well, because I mean, it's obviously this is a horror movie, right? And the title's a perfect description for what this movie is, and from that same title, you can guess what this movie is, right? It's a horror movie. Although the noun of the title is made plural at one point in the story, making for all this multiple creepiness and scares. Anyway, this horror slasher movie, is directed by Eli Craig, who's best known for co-writing and directing the cult horror comedy film Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Have you ever seen
Mhm.
that? It's
Yeah.
actually quite good. He's also the second son, I found out, of actress Sally Field. I wonder what his
Oh,
mom, Sally Field, thinks of her son in his horror movie career. I don't even think she's
probably
ever
like,
made. Yeah, she's never made a horror movie, But anyway, simple plot is
uh,
it's about a town once known for its corn syrup exports that one day is out of the blue terrorized by a killer clown. That's basically the plot. And this is a movie that normally I would be running out of the theater screaming from. It's very, very violent, and it's very creative and bloody, and it's graphic kills. It's somewhat derivative of all those like 80s teens getting slaughtered one by one movies in either a town setting or a camp setting or another
right.
setting where some kind of monster is terrorizing them. And it has to do with the young people of the town, the high school kids. Going into this movie, I thought there was no way the filmmakers could bring this killer clown notion to life on screen that would be fresh.
Right.
But they kind of did. The first half is pretty meta with subtle references to those 80s horror movies. There's even a nod to Jaws in this movie, and you're thinking, okay, this is all borderline cliche. But about halfway through, there are some unexpected twists and turns and shifts in the horror intensity and plot contrivances that turn this film, for me, into something that was almost political, something that subtly makes a statement about the failure of capitalism, the craziness of
Oh,
the MAGA movement, the dangers of authoritarian rule. And I don't think this is just me, getting that out of this. I think some of that was intentional because I should also mention that this movie is actually based on an award-winning YA novel by this guy named Adam Seizure. So it's a young adult novel. Um, so, and this is the other thing. The filmmakers do something in the second half where the kills, as they were doubling and tripling and getting grosser and grosser and scarier as ever, they did something. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe it was some kind of like subtext or some kind, I don't know what it was, but they did something that turned these horrors into something that was almost comic and that had this sense of humor about itself, making the kills and stuff easier to digest and to absorb. I don't know. I actually went from like, oh God, I was covering my eyes and going, oh God, I'm not going to get through this, to a point where I actually was amused by it. So, maybe, this being based on a young adult novel, maybe that's what lends the film some kind of grist. But yeah, I think this film shows us that horror can still be smart and can still be savage and can still be screaming with the kind of contemporary relevance. And whether you're there for the blood or the brains, I think this film has something for every horror movie fan. And I found it a fresh, scary, and surprisingly funny take on a very careworn genre. I recommend it. And let's just leave it at that. I'm not a psychologist and I'm not going to try to figure out why, but I surprisingly like this movie.
It reminded me when I saw the name and the picture of
Mm-hmm.
like a blend between Children of the Corn and clowns. Like, why not take two of the scariest things and merge them together into
Yeah.
a mega scary thing?
Yeah, that would apply.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when
It's
I was a teenager and I was babysitting, and
uh,
the family had some movie service that my parents wouldn't pay for, like HBO or Showtime or something. And The Children of the Corn came on, and I had not been allowed to watch these kinds of things. And so I watched it because, I'm the big
mm-hmm.
babysitter, I'm in charge tonight. And for the next, well, still today, I would say, uh, at night now, I'm scared. There used to be, now there's a house there. There used to be across the street from where I live, a field, like where they let the grass grow. And it
Hmm.
wasn't corn, but it was like wavy grass. You could see it
Ooh.
like in the moonlight and, it
Ooh.
was like tall
Yeah.
grass. And after I watched this movie, I'd look across the street and I would be deathly afraid.
Yeah.
Cannot watch horror movies. That movie scared the bejesus out of me. And so
Yeah.
this one, it's another no-go for me, but I'm glad you found it fresh and that you liked it. But boy, the whole cornfield thing really freaks the hell out of me.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I was plagued by horror films when I was really little, and then but by the time it's funny that you mentioned that going home and looking out at you were scared to death. Yeah, I saw some movie, some cheap movie. It was about some kind of tree monster or something, and I watched it at a friend's who was like maybe about 5 doors away, and I remember thinking I'm not going to make it home because a tree is going to jump out from the side of a car and eat me.
Oh,
But then when I got to be about 10, I thought, these are just movies kind of thing. So, and
yeah,
then I never had that problem. But I think the older I get, the harder it is to disassociate from some of this stuff because it's just,
yeah,
I mean, people must be craving some of this stuff on some level because horror movies now, they're a dime a dozen. They're all over the place.
yeah.
Neon, which used to be like an independent, well, it still is an independent film boutique label. They're specializing in
Yeah.
horror films now. So, yeah, I don't know what that
It's
says about the culture, but
it's interesting. Nola Vidian remembers clowns from childhood like Bozo, and they weren't scary. And now Vanessa says, why is it that always clowns are the killers? Why do we turn clowns into something scary?
well, there was everybody. I don't know if everybody watching and listening ever heard of John Wayne Gacy, but
Oh
remember John
yeah,
Wayne Gacy? He
yeah,
was a clown. I
yeah,
think he probably gave a lot of these writers ideas about like turning something that
yeah.
was normally associated with fun and lightness into something horrible.
Like dolls, they do the same thing with dolls, little
Oh yeah,
kids' toys where you look into the eyes and
oh
or
yeah.
just it is like
Oh,
a some kind of a disguise that's
yeah.
creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, remember the Twilight Zone episode with Talkie Tina, who was this a sweet, adorable little doll, but it was really a
Hmm.
devil doll, and yeah, wound up killing the father of the little girl who owned the doll because the father thought the doll was possessed and he was trying to kill the doll, but he
Yeah.
couldn't. Yeah. Anyway,
Rev P, this must be a line from a movie. He writes, "You don't look at me." I don't know what that's from, but it freaks
I
me out.
don't either. Yeah, horror fans
Uh,
listening, maybe they can tell us what that's from. Yeah.
all right, we've got the next movie, and this one is called Fight or Flight. And Michael Snyder told me this is not a movie for me.
I would probably agree with Michael Snyder
Okay.
on that notion. Yeah, goodness, fight or flight. This is the very definition of a popcorn movie, or maybe more of a cotton candy movie. It's like tastes good as you're eating it, but something that's like totally nutritionally bankrupt. That's
Oh,
this movie. It's an action comedy. It's this adrenaline fueled story about this guy played by Josh Hartnett. His picture, there he is in the poster. He's having a career renaissance as of late. He's appearing in a lot of movies, and he's good. He's a good actor. Anyway, he plays this character who's recruited by this government agency to not only identify, but once identified, to also protect this wanted criminal aboard a commercial airline. So the movie's this series of like who's who and who's on this guy's side, and can he trust these people and everything. And it's this crazy, semi-mindless movie, totally designed to divert, distract, and entertain. Its strength is that it's this ongoing series of very violent, bone breaking, bone crushing martial arts action set pieces set aboard a plane flying at 40,000 feet, involving men and women who not only have these nunchucks and similar devices to kill people with, but men and women who also have guns. And you know what happens when a gun is fired on a plane flying at an altitude of 40,000 feet. I mean, the cabinet's not going to stand for that. Anyway, there's not much else to say about this movie other than it looks as though it may be aiming towards a franchise. It's another movie IP. It ends in a way that I think if this one's a hit at the box office, we're going to see more of these movies. But, you know, if you want your adrenaline ignited, or you just need an adrenaline fix or an adrenaline rush, I suppose you could do worse than this one.
Was it good enough to be the first movie in a series of sequels?
Boy, I was going to say you're asking the wrong part. I would say yes, based on what what the studios are looking at movies that appear to be sure things. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't read the box office reports for the weekend. Of course, it's only Friday, but they come out so fast. I would say, yeah, it justifies another one. It's just probably going to be more of the same. But the audience I saw, the preview audience I saw the movie with, really seemed to enjoy it. And there's some humor too. There is a couple times where certain things are said that that provide laughs in order for you to kind of just like, oh, okay, I needed a release at this point, because that fight scene was just way too much for me. And the way the people die in this movie, oh my God. This week for me, it was like the killings in the movies that I saw, I just don't want to repeat anytime soon.
Too many killings.
Too many killings. That's fight or flight. Yeah.
So are you recommending fight or flight?
I would say if this is your cup of tea, yeah. I was surprised that I found it as enjoyable as I did, although I did kind of find it at one point to be repetitive. So I'm recommending it to those who have a propensity for these types of movies and who enjoy these types of movies.
All right. Your classic movie recommendation of the week is a movie called Brief Encounter from 1946.
Yes. Now, Kim, this is a movie for you. This is definitely up your alley. It's because I know you love romantic dramas and comedies. This is one of the great romance dramas of all time, and the quintessential woman's picture. It was released almost 80 years ago. That just boggles my mind. This movie will be 80 years old next year. It's the British drama Brief Encounter. And it was originally a one-act play called Still Life by Noel Coward. And this movie, in fact, was produced by Coward, and it was directed by David Lean, the great filmmaker, one of that master's early unadorned human dramas prior to him venturing into those large screen epics like Bridge on the River Kwai and Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago. It stars Celia Johnson and Trevor Howard, who are in the poster there, and it tells the story of these two married strangers living in pre-World War II England, and they have this chance meeting at a railway station one Thursday day that leads to this brief but very intense emotional love affair, which disrupts their otherwise very staid and conventional British lives. Many critics, many historians, and many scholars consider Brief Encounter as one of the greatest films of all time, and I'm one of those people. I have never met a woman who I recommended this movie to, or who has seen this film, who did not unreservedly love it. Men like it too, but women go especially nuts over this picture, probably because it's one of the very few films from that era that's solely from the perspective or the point of view of the woman, who also narrates the film. That's how they met. She's waiting for a train, and she gets some kind of splinter in her eye, and he plays a doctor. Trevor Howard plays a doctor, and he just happens to overhear, and he says, "Oh, I'm a doctor. I think I can get that out for you." And then, anyway, the music.
There's no telling what he can do for her.
Yeah, there's no telling. Yeah, well, it's a very tasteful. It's very British. It's very English. So the music, which I want to say, the music score consists solely of the lushly romantic and pulsatingly emotional Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto Number 2, which is they use it really interestingly because it superbly contrasts the Britishness of this piece. It's like the music here provides this sense of emotional throbbing that these very reserved British characters do not and perhaps cannot outwardly express. So it's a great movie. I don't know what else there is to say about Brief Encounter. It's just satisfying in every way. It's filled with emotion. And for film geeks, as a technical piece of filmmaking, it's really emblematic of director David Lean, who, beginning with this picture, I think, I mean, there were others before. He did other collaborations with Noel Coward. He did In Which We Serve, I think, yeah, In Which We Serve, This Happy Breed and Blithe Spirit. But as a technical piece of filmmaking too, this movie rather cemented Lean's stature within the industry and provided more ample evidence of the great talent that was to emerge with all those Charles Dickens adaptations he did. Great Expectations and Oliver Twist, great movies, and then to the large screen epics that were to follow. Anyway, Brief Encounter. It's now streaming on Max. Ladies, This is a special recommendation to all of you listening and watching who have never seen it.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
So it's streaming on Max. There's no excuse for me not to watch this one, and I will. And it looks, you say this is the best romance of all time, huh?
I would say it's one of them. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just terrific. Oh, you know what, Kim? There's another movie out now. I don't know if Michael, because I haven't listened yet. I don't know if Michael Snyder reviewed this, but there's a movie out now. I just wanted to mention, I haven't seen it, but there's a movie out now that debuted a couple of years ago at the Fantastic Film Festival. It's a Swedish science fiction film called UFO Sweden, which has now been released in the US in selected US theaters under the name Watch the Skies. And this is why I want to bring this up. It's a Swedish movie. It's starring Swedish actors speaking Swedish, getting a wider release for American audiences. But instead of subtitles, the film is dubbed into English, but it's a different kind of dubbing that they're now calling immersive dubbing, which is this new AI powered technology that what it does is it digitally remaps an actor's mouth to the new video, leading to this seamless performance that appears to be in another language, in this case English from Swedish. And they mimic the Swedish actors' voices as well. Mm-hmm. So, and the industry scuttlebutt is that this new AI technology could literally change how international films are going to attract foreign audiences who don't like to and won't read subtitles. And it's just, they're saying it's changing the way we're going to watch movies forever. They're also saying, and I don't know myself because I haven't seen a movie yet, but that unless you know about the immersive dubbing process going in, the effect is largely invisible. I guess they're saying it's not perfected yet, but they're saying it's pretty seamless if you're not watching it. And if you are watching it, you may notice some imperfections because that's like with all new technology. Right. But apparently it's this, I'm going to try to see it next week just so I can see what's going on. But interesting development with this movie. And apparently it's a good movie too. From critics I know that have seen the Swedish version, they're saying it's a pretty tight science fiction movie that just as a movie is really good. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what this new technology is doing. It's basically like making the actors and apparently this has all been approved by SAG. It's making the actors seem as though they're speaking fluent English in their own Swedish voice.
It's so interesting because you would think that...
Oh yeah, there we go. That's it. Yeah,
you would think that SAG would not approve something like this, SAG-AFTRA, because why then would we remake it with American actors or with actors in another country? If we didn't need to do that because of the technology. It's fascinating, and I wonder if this has any impact on the He Who Shall Not Be Named on this show just raised the tariffs on foreign films 100%. It's supposed to have this huge impact on movies, thanks to John Voight meeting with the president. And so now you have this technology where these foreign films automatically appear in English with good English with the
Yeah.
original actors. And so,
Yeah,
you know,
with their mouths apparently
yeah.
conforming to the English. That's what's
So,
freaky.
so then you have these movies that are ready for American audiences that we can't show because they're too expensive to show here, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's going to
No
be a
either.
game changer. I mean, and I guess it's inevitable. I just didn't think it would be coming this soon, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we'll see what happens.
according to this podcast, it's one of the best sci-fi films you've never seen. So I can't wait to
Yeah.
hear what you think about that UFO Sweden. Well, let's recap it, my friend,
Okay.
because here is what you said, and I have the pictures to prove it. You said of uh, clown in a
Clown
cornfield.
in a cornfield.
Yeah.
Clown in a cornfield.
You said of this one, it's creative, bloody, violent, got surprisingly political about halfway through. It's infused, though, with this humor, dark humor, and you recommend it. You think it has something for every horror fan, and it's a fresh take on horror movies. And so, interestingly, Cloud in a Cornfield gets a recommendation from Tim
Yeah,
Sika,
yeah, it does. Go figure.
as does Fight or Flight. If this is your kind of movie, you called it a popcorn movie with empty calories, but repetitive, also enjoyable. You said it's violent, also with some humor, and you recommend it. You said if this is your cup of tea.
Yeah.
As for Tim Sika's classic movie wreck of the week, that would be Brief Encounter from 1946. You say this is streaming on Max. You called it one of the best romance movies of all time. It's emotional, it's satisfying, and you say we must see Brief Encounter.
Yes, especially the ladies listening need to see it.
Especially Tim's Mother's Day gift to us. This is
Yeah,
wonderful.
there you go. That's right. Mother's Day is Sunday, of course. Yeah.
Mhm.
Didn't
That's
even
it.
consciously plan for that, but there
And
you go.
here it is. See, like
Yeah.
you just wrapped up a little present right for
Yeah,
us.
there we go.
At the movies with Tim Sika. Tim, thank you for all of your work this week and for recommending the movies. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
you bet, Kim. We'll talk to you next week and have a lovely Mother's Day.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.